How's it going, everybody? I'm the big guy. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. There have been none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jake Covey. And welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got a huge anniversary-packed episode of Wrestling Made Simple. That is right, it is our 1-year anniversary of doing this show. Episode 53, we are officially in a new year, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the new age. I just want to take a second before we start this podcast to say thank you to everybody who's listened, to all my friends and family, and to all the listeners out there. Thank you very much to everybody who I've met along the way. Thank you very much for supporting me. I hope you continue to enjoy this podcast, and hopefully we go for years to come, and who knows, maybe one day we'll be in Titan Tower recording an episode. Hey, be nice to live that dream. But anyway, let's get into this huge episode of Wrestling Made Simple with the news of the week, followed by your Smackdown and Raw reviews, and then a Hell in a Cell 2020 review, followed by not one, but two predictions. That's right, we got two predictions this week. We got the NXT In Your House show. Even though there's only been 3 matches, I imagine there will be more matches announced tonight. But since I record this in the morning on Tuesday, fuck it. And we also have your Hell in a Cell 2022 predictions, followed by your WWE Drink of the Week, and of course, a reading from the Book of Rules. And then we finish it off with everybody's favorite, the Battle Droid of the Week. But let's get into the news right now. As huge congratulations go out to Andrade and Charlotte Flair. They officially tied the knot. Very good for them. Awesome to see. Hopefully they have a long and happy marriage. And also, unfortunately, do not expect a return from Stephanie McMahon to WWE anytime soon, as it has been talked about by PW Insider that their sources are saying they do not expect to see Stephanie McMahon back anytime soon, as she is looking to enjoy time with her family. She has been replaced by Nick Khan for right now, and WWE is looking for someone to fill her position full time. So don't expect a return from her, but expect a return from a legend. That's right, Jeff Jarrett is back in WWE. So awesome to see him back in. Awesome to see him back after his TNA run when he came back for the Hall of Fame. And now to see him back like this just makes me smile. He'll be back on a Broken Skull session, and he will be a full-time backstage producer. So shout out to Jeff Jarrett for coming back to WWE. And with that being said, let's get into our first show we're going to review today, as we have 5 shows to go into this week. Smackdown kicked off with the Undisputed Champion, the Usos, in the ring talking about, they delivered a very emotional promo about how happy they are that they are Undisputed Champions and how they didn't care if the fans booed or cheered for them. They were just thankful for them to be there. Psych, fuck you. They're just there because they're in the bloodline. And that's why they're the best tag team there is. And as they're cutting this promo about how they don't need the fans, it's all the bloodline. Shinsuke Nakamura comes out and challenges them for their titles. He says he's ready to take the Undisputed tag team titles from them. And the Usos just smiled and said, oh yeah, then who's your partner? Bro. Matt Riddle comes out and says he is still ready to destroy the bloodline for what they did to Randy. So, looks like Shinsuke Nakamura has a new partner in Matt Riddle. They came to the ring and a big brawl broke out. I guess it's official. They will have a contenders match on Raw this week. After the shots, we cut to a backstage segment where Shotzi is telling the locker room they don't need to wait around anymore. They don't need to be sitting there. as they don't want Raquel Gonzalez to get all her glory for facing Ronda Rousey when it should be them. The locker room then walked out, and as Shotzi went to put on her helmet, she realized the door was locked and Elias had locked her in the room. Well, fuck. This was very funny because she was actually tweeting this whole time through the show. She just kept tweeting like, is someone going to come help me? Please. And I actually responded. I go, if you're tweeting, you have a phone. Why not just call somebody? Call the janitor. Call Vince McMahon. Call someone. I think he actually liked it on Twitter, which is funny to me. I was just dying laughing at this. So shout out to Shotzi for not just keeping the kayfabe, but making this very funny. After this, we got the Smackdown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Gonzalez. They were set up for a good match. Looked like they were going to have another banger. And then out comes Shayna Baszler and Natalya. The reason I'm doing this is because this match does not end well, in my opinion. You have Raquel Gonzalez and Ronda Rousey, who are not a tag team altogether, versus what's supposed to be a tag team that is supposed to be going for the championships in this Women's Tag Team Championship tournament, if they end up having it. From what I'm hearing from WrestleMania and a couple other people, the tournament is dead. It's not happening. WWE has yet to mention it on Raw or SmackDown this week, so I don't know. But, anyway, it's turned into a tag team match between the two. Ronda Rousey and Raquel Gonzalez handily defeated them. Handily. So, very fun way to see that, and I was actually shocked by that. But, why are you burying your tag team stars if you're trying to rebuild the women's tag team division? Very good question. We then got a Los Lotharios match versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Jinder Mahal actually was running around and he couldn't find Shanky at all. He finally finds Shanky dancing in his room. This kind of pissed Jinder off to no end. Don't hinder Jinder, remember that. It was very funny during this match, by the way, because you had Los Lotharios outside the ring actually dancing, and Shanky just walks up and just bonks Angel on the head, which made me laugh my fucking ass off. I thought that was hilarious. And then he throws it back in the ring. Los Lotharios end up picking up the win here. They actually had a good fight. Los Lotharios picks up the win. And then you have Jinder Mahal getting pissed as Shanky starting to walk away, and Shanky just goes bye-bye. So I guess their partnership is gone. We then got Kevin Owens hosting the Kevin Owens show on SmackDown. I guess the brand split's dead. Just saying, Raw Superstar. He brought out his guest, Sami Zayn, who is now a self-proclaimed member of the Bloodline. Kevin said, hey, I'm dealing with Ezekiel. Forget this Bloodline stuff. Come help me on Raw. And Sami Zayn said he can't leave the Bloodline. He can't leave the Usos. He's an honorary Us. Kevin then said, hey, they don't care about you, man. Leave this and forget them. Sami then said everybody knows he doesn't care if Ezekiel is Elias or not. He said Kevin's changed, and he then shoved Kevin and said the Bloodline does care for him. Owens then lost it and hit a stunner on one of the camera crew. This was awesome to see. I wonder if there will be like big repercussions for it later on, because they didn't mention it on Raw. We then got Gunther and Kaiser versus the Intercontinental Champion Ricochet and Drew Gulak in a tag team match. Very good tag team match. It went for a little while. I was actually very excited. They pick up the win over Drew Gulak, not Ricochet. I hope they use this as a way to put Gunther into the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe a match at Hell in a Cell. Since we still have the Go Home episode of SmackDown, that's what I see happening. After this, we got Sami Zayn having a conversation with the Usos, saying he doesn't think he's getting enough respect as a member of the Bloodline, and he asks if he's really a member. Sami then learned that he has been made an honorary Us by the Usos, so that's pretty cool to see. We then got your main event of the evening, The New Day, announcing their tag team member for tonight as Fight Night, because I hate the Bruising Brawlers. I think that's a stupid name. I prefer Fight Night, like Pat McAfee says. Announcing their tag team partner, and who's it gonna be? None other than Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre come out in New Day versus Fight Night, and they have a great match. They started calling him the Big D on commentary, which was very funny. I thought that made me laugh. Very good match. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore. You have Xavier Woods picking up the win after hitting a splash on on Butch. Very good match. Exciting. New Day and Drew McIntyre pick up the win to build up steam for maybe a Hell in a Cell match. Maybe that'll finally end this feud. It'll be Hell in a Cell of the New Day versus Fight Night. That'll be fun to see. But that was SmackDown. Very fun SmackDown. Had its moments when you're like, okay, this was stupid, but at the same time, you're like, oh, this was fun. You know? It was funny, and I enjoyed it. We now move on to Raw, as Raw kicked off with Becky Lynch in the ring. Becky Lynch declaring herself a wizard on the mic. She made Bianca's championship disappear at SummerSlam, so she's going to make it disappear again at Hell in a Cell. She says she's responsible for all of Asuka's success in WWE because she handed her title at Money in the Bank because she had to go off and have a baby. After this, Asuka came to the ring to try to address Charlotte Flair. Bianca Belair came out and said, no way. You guys aren't leaving me out of this. We then get a match between Bianca Belair and Asuka. Bianca Belair was able to pick up the win, but Becky Lynch attacked them both, leading to her standing tall with her crazy look. I like this Becky Lynch, man. I love Becky Lynch as a heel. So, I don't know. I don't think she gets enough credit as a heel. I think it's a perfect role for her. We then got Ezekiel, Dominic, and Rey Mysterio versus the Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens in a nice little six-man tag. It ended with Kevin Owens accidentally super kicking Chad Gable. Ezekiel comes in and gets the win with a roll-up. I'm not a six-man tag team match fan. Everybody knows that, but it was still an okay match to where I'm like, okay, this is passable. We then got Cody Rhodes coming out and saying that Cody, he respects Seth Rollins. He enjoys Seth Rollins. He likes Seth Rollins as a performer. Seth's music hits and he says he doesn't like Cody. He never respected Cody. He says he left with his friends and went off to form something else and tear down what Seth had built, so he'll never like Seth. He looks at Cody and says, you destroyed the throne that I built and then tried to come back and sit on the throne. Huge AEW reference there for those of you who don't know at the first ever Double or Nothing. When Seth Rollins, it was Cody Rhodes coming out to face his brother, he actually had a Triple H throne all set up and he takes a hammer to it and smashes it. I thought that was unbelievable at the time, and for them to reference it at right now, it's amazing to me. I thought that was great storytelling by them. Cody then said, hey, I'm not waiting for this. Let's do this right now. Let's have this brawl. And Seth runs back into the arena. He's about to jump the barricade from the crowd. Seth says, we ain't doing this yet. Cody then chases him into the crowd and they start brawling. They're going for everything. Seth Rollins comes away a little bit daisy. And what does Cody do? He spears him through the barricades. Unbelievable. They start brawling. Everything's going down the floor. And who comes out but Curtis Axel, a new WWE backstage producer. Him, Adam Pearce, all the guys from all the backstage producers, and everyone comes out. It's fucking pandemonium. What are you going to do? Only Curtis Axel can separate them. But he isn't even enough as Seth gets in the ring, goes for his suicide dive, but still just kind of jumps out of the ring, attacks Cody. They're brawling. Everyone's needing to separate them. Oh my God, this is how the show should have ended. This would have been a great main event, in my opinion. Just saying. Just saying. We then get Little Miss Bliss versus Doudrop with Nikki Ash at ringside. Nikki Ash gimmick needs to end, dude. She's doing herself no favors anymore. It was cool at first, and her winning the Raw Women's Championship was awesome, but at the same time, it needs to end now. It's time for it to end. I think I know what my Battle Droid of the Week's going to be. Little Miss Bliss picks up the win very quickly. She is now 4-0 since coming back to Raw. So bravo to her. 4-0. We then got an episode of Miz TV with the Street Profits. He was starting to talk about how he's so excited for Miz and Mrs. Next week, next Monday, the new season of Miz and Mrs. debuts with 2 new episodes after Raw. So shout out to the Miz and Maurice on their 3rd season. Great job to them. But as he's going through this, the Street Profits come out. They just take his seat because they know what's about to happen. The 24/7 Championship crowd comes flooding in. You got T-Bar hitting an amazing sit-down choke slam on Akira Tozawa. But Tamina is able to pin Dana Brooke. She's the new 24/7 champion. And as she's celebrating, Akira Tozawa rolls her up. New 24/7 champion Akira Tozawa. So Akira Tozawa runs off. Very good for Akira Tozawa. Oh my God, we have a new 24/7 champion. Yay. Ta-da. After this, we got Mustafa Ali versus Champa. Mustafa Ali wins. He gets a future opportunity at the United States Championship. Mustafa Ali was going to the top rope for him to probably hit a splash or maybe a 360, something like that. But as he's going to the top rope, Austin Theory gets involved, pulls him down, beats the shit out of him, and says, hey, you won by disqualification. That means you get a future United States Championship opportunity. Well, the best time in the future is now, so let's do this. He throws him in the ring, starts beating the shit out of him. Theory then defeated Mustafa Ali, but after the match, Adam Pearce comes out and says, hey, Theory, before you take your selfie, might want to check your texts, because here we go. You have a match with Mustafa Ali this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. So it looks like we're running it back at Hell in a Cell. Hopefully Mustafa Ali can pick up the win, because apparently they're predicting Theory to go into the main event very soon. I would love to see Mustafa Ali get the United States Championship. I think he deserves it. We then got a number 1 contenders match as the Usos took on Shinsuke Nakamura and Riddle. This was a very good match, very fun match until the end, where the Usos caused a DQ by hitting Riddle with his own scooter. After this, they continue to fight. Riddle and Shinsuke got the upper hand. Maybe this will be the match at Hell in a Cell. Throw them inside the cell, because there is only one cell match so far announced. And every other match is on Raw. Not a single match has been announced for Smackdown. We then got Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with AJ Styles and Finn Balor at her side. You have Damien Priest on Rhea's side. Liv starts to go for the Oblivion. You had Rhea get held by Damien Priest the same way Edge did. And then AJ Styles takes out Damien Priest. It was awesome. Liv Morgan rolls up Rhea Ripley. And Liv Morgan picks up a win clean over Rhea Ripley. Great for her. Maybe she's finally getting a push and a Money in the Bank contract. Maybe. We then got Damien Priest trying to take out AJ Styles. Liv Morgan is all alone in the ring. But Finn Balor comes out for the save. Finn Balor takes out Damien Priest. AJ Styles hits a phenomenal forearm coup de grace on Damien Priest. Liv Morgan takes out Rhea Ripley with a top rope splash. The new club stands tall, and it will be a 6-person tag team match at Hell in a Cell. Very fun, very good match. I'm excited for Hell in a Cell with this title, with this match being added. This is a 6-man tag that I actually think I'm going to like. Edge and Judgment Day versus the new club of Liv Morgan, Finn Balor, and AJ Styles. The question is, who's going to turn heel? Because there's no way they don't book a heel turn for this match. It's not going to be AJ Styles. If it's AJ Styles, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's either going to be Finn Balor or Liv, and I want it to be Liv. I think that would be awesome, but I think it's going to be Finn Balor. And I don't want to see Finn Balor heel again, but that's just me. We then got the contract signing between Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Owens for Hell in a Cell, where it's going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match. I'm looking forward to this match. MVP comes in. He's ready to go. He's like, hey, you turned your back on me. You weren't just my friend. You were my brother. I loved you. And this is what you did to me. You then had Bobby Lashley sign the contract, just say, enough talk, let's just do what we're here to do. He throws the table out of the ring. Then as he's getting ready to go beat them down, Cedric Alexander comes out of nowhere. Maybe he should be the wizard. Maybe he should be a magician. Guy appears out of nowhere like he's Chris fucking Angel. Tries to take him out. Tries to take out Bobby Lashley. Nothing comes of it. Bobby Lashley beats the shit out of him. Almost then set up a table to put Lashley through as MVP tries to take out Lashley. Bobby Lashley spears almost through the table. MVP is standing there in shock, and Lashley stands tall to end the show. Very good Raw. I enjoyed this Raw. Very good go-home show. Really tried to bring up Hell in a Cell. Tried to set everything up for it. Good on them for that. There were times when you're going, okay, this shouldn't be happening, like the Nikki Ash at ringside. I'd love to see her just go back to Nikki Cross, but you can't get everything you want. But that was Raw, ladies and gentlemen. Very good shows this week. I enjoyed it. But there's still a lot left to go in this podcast episode. Okay. First, let's kick it off with Hell in a Cell 2020, coming from Orlando, Florida, in the Amway Center, in the Thunderdome during the pandemic. This is a special Hell in a Cell. I love this show. I'm actually on the Thunderdome for the main event. So if you look, you'll actually see me in the front row, which is awesome. I always say because of that, I got to see a Hell in a Cell live. So I love that. I think that's fun for me. This is actually a Hell in a Cell that has 3 Hell in a Cell matches on it. So buckle up. This is going to be a big one. You start off at the pre-show with Drew Gulak versus R-Truth for the 24/7 championship. R-Truth picks up the win to hold on to his baby. He runs out of the ring in a 5-minute pre-show match. And then we get to the main show. Roman Reigns, your WWE Universal Championship, starting his needle mover, his God mode, if you call it. In Hell in a Cell versus Jimmy Uso in a Hell in a Cell I Quit match. These two brought everything out. They were ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Stairs, chairs, everything. They even brought out a leather strap. I thought that was amazing. Jimmy Uso coming out. The only way he gets Jay to quit is by him locking the guillotine on an injured Jimmy Uso. And finally, Jay says, I quit. I get it. Okay. You're the head of the table. You're the tribal chief. We acknowledge you. Very fun match. 29-minute Hell in a Cell. Awesome match. And then you get a 7.5-minute disqualification match of Elias versus Jeff Hardy. Nothing too big. Nothing that I was like, okay, this is awesome. Nothing that made me go, hey, this is just great. I did enjoy this match. I don't know. There was just something about it that just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. I guess I don't know. So, we then get, after this, we get a singles match between Otis and The Miz. If Otis loses, he loses the Money in the Bank contract to The Miz. Fun, okay match. It's clear they had no plans for Otis to cash in. They had no plans for Otis after he won the Money in the Bank, because they have Tucker turn on Otis. Otis loses his Money in the Bank contract. The Miz holds on to it, cashes in on Drew McIntyre at Elimination Chamber. So, Miz wins this match. He becomes new Mr. Money in the Bank and ends up cashing in. Again, nothing to where I was like, oh, this is just a good match. Nothing where I was like, okay, this is fun. It sucked to see them break up Heavy Machinery. You would have Tucker chase the 24/7 championship, and that would be it. You would never really see Tucker again. He would be released later on in the year after WrestleMania, and that would be it for Tucker in WWE. Yeah. Good choice. Good fucking choice. But after this, you get your second Hell in a Cell match of the night for the Smackdown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks versus Bayley. The breakup of the Golden Role Models. I thought this was a very fun match. It actually started out with Bayley going into the ring with her steel chair, and as she's getting ready to swing it, it gets knocked out and locked outside Hell in a Cell, and nothing gets to come of it. She doesn't get to use her chair. So her and Sasha brawl with everything. Kendo sticks, chairs, tables, everything that can be involved in this match is. And it's a fun match. It's a feud that I really wish got more attention and should have been, well, I think, the match at WrestleMania. I think it should have been Bayley versus Sasha Banks, with Bayley as the heel winning the Royal Rumble. But that's just me. That's why I think it should have been. So, I don't know. Sasha Banks ends up picking up the win. Bayley loses her SmackDown Women's Championship. And instead of being involved at WrestleMania, she's basically just a backstage promo person. So, nothing really that you're like, okay. But a great match nonetheless. And then after this is when I come on the Thunderdome. Just saying. Because then you get Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack. I know, how weird is that one? For the United States Championship. Still a member of Retribution. Retribution still going strong. But this match did nothing for him, as it was a 3-minute squash match, basically. Bobby Lashley locks in the Hurt Lock. Slapjack taps out. Bobby Lashley retains the United States Championship. And then you got your main event of the evening. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. I've talked about this match at length, actually, in my last episode, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but it is an amazing match. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre showed why they should be the main event of this pay-per-view. They tore Hell in a Cell to pieces, brawling on top of it. Great match, very fun. Loved it. Loved Randy Orton getting his 14th World Championship in WWE. Again, very fun match. I really did enjoy this match. If you're looking for a quintessential Hell in a Cell match, this is it. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Great job. I also want to point out in this match, Randy Orton isn't wearing his usual tights. He's wearing his pants. I thought that was very, very funny to see Randy Orton in pants. Great. This show is fun as hell for the Hell in a Cell matches. The rest of the matches suck. There's 3 amazing matches, and then there's the rest. No offense to the people involved in it. All great performers. Still, nothing now was like... There was nothing of these other matches that was like, whoa! It was a shock factor to see Otis lose the Money in the Bank contract, but at the same time, it was nothing that was like, it wasn't something I wasn't expecting. The Hell in a Cell match is amazing. The rest of the show, ugh. But it just goes to show that pay-per-views could be one way and the other. You could have a great match, then a sucky match, and the show could still be good. Again, I really enjoyed this show. I thought it was a fun one. Drew and Randy Orton battling on top of the cell was awesome. And Randy winning the title. You got Roman Reigns locking in Jimmy Uso to get Jay to say I quit. You have the feud that should have been a main event at WrestleMania and Bayley and Sasha. I loved it. I thought those were great matches. Otis versus The Miz, Elias versus Jeff Hardy, oh God, no. Then you had Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack, it's just a squash match, and a pre-show. Again, nothing to write home about. But those Hell in a Cell matches, those were fun. But that concludes your 2020 Hell in a Cell review. Let's get in to our predictions. As first, we're going to start off with In Your House from the Performance Center, June 4th, day before Hell in a Cell. We have only 3 matches announced, which kind of pisses me off. I'm actually very sad about that. But again, I imagine they will announce probably a women's match tonight, a women's championship match for Mandy Rose to defend her title, and probably a women's tag team match. It's probably something. We got Cameron Grimes versus Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams for the NXT North American Championship. I don't see him putting it back on Carmelo Hayes. I see Cameron Grimes retaining this title. And your second match tonight, we got the Tag Team Champions NXT Tag Team Championship. Pretty deadly defending against the Creed Brothers. I see the Creed Brothers actually winning this title. I see the Creed Brothers taking the new NXT Tag Team Champions and using it as a way to kind of discourage Roderick Strong from the Diamond Mine, and they become the new leaders while Roderick Strong is finally released from his contract and goes to AEW. That's what I see happening. And finally, the last match announced for tonight. Again, only 3 matches, cards subject to change. It better fucking change. Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy, and if Braun Breaker is disqualified, he loses his NXT Championship. I see Braun Breaker losing this match. Here's why. They want to push Braun Breaker to the fucking moon. They are ready. They believe he's ready for a call-up, and I completely agree. I want to see Braun Breaker in the main event, ready to face Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, I could see him as a monster in the main event series. So, I see Braun Breaker being called up. So, I see Braun Breaker losing his NXT Championship. And that's NXT in your house. Again, a lot left to discuss about that when the rest of the matches are announced, but that won't be at least until later tonight, probably maybe the day of the show. I don't know. Now we move on to Hell in a Cell. Let's kick off with the first Hell in a Cell match. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Fricken Rollins. Great feud. I can see them actually running this feud back at coming WrestleMania time, where Cody Rhodes wins the WWE Championship, because I think The Rock and Roman Reigns are going to feud over the Universal Championship. I don't think they're getting rid of the 2 World Championship. I see them still having the World Championships altogether. Both. So, I can see Cody Rhodes winning this. Cody Rhodes is going to win this. He's going to go on to win Money in the Bank, cash in, win the WWE Championship, and him and Seth are probably going to feud over it come WrestleMania 39, maybe main event night 1 of WrestleMania with it. So Cody Rhodes picks up the win here. We then get Bianca Belair versus Asuka versus Becky Lynch in a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship. I see Bianca Belair retaining here. I don't see a reason to take it off of her yet. But that's just me. I could see maybe Asuka winning it because of the hatred between Becky Lynch and Asuka, but I do not see... Again, I think Bianca Belair is going to hold on to this title. We then got your 2-on-1 handicap. Bobby Lashley versus Almost an MVP. Bobby Lashley is going to pick up the win here, because I could also see MVP coming out saying, you didn't read the contract. I never said it was a 2-on-1 with me. It's a 2-on-1 with Cedric Alexander and Omos. So, I could see that happening. But Bobby Lashley picks up the win here. We then get Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens. I pray it's Kevin Owens, and after he beats Ezekiel, Ezekiel finally says, you're right, I'm Elias. This is a stupid thing. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm Elias. I would love to just see the end of this. That's just me. We then go Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali for the United States Championship. I see Mustafa Ali actually winning this match. Mustafa Ali's going to win this match, maybe by disqualification if Champa gets involved, but also I could see Mustafa Ali as your new United States Championship. I don't know why, I could see it. And finally, in your last match announced for the show, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Liv Morgan versus the Judgment Day of Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. The Judgment Day is going to pick up the win. One of these guys is going to turn heel. If not one of them, Ciampa's going to get involved, and he's going to turn heel. And, well, he's already a heel, but he's going to join Judgment Day, and that, or maybe Corey Graves joins Judgment Day. And that's what's going to happen. Judgment Day picks up the win. And that's my predictions for Hell in a Cell. Nothing too grandeur. I see what the bettors see happening, the favorites. I could easily see it. That's just me. Let's move on to your drink of the week, ladies and gentlemen. This is a new one, the Hell's Fury shot. People try it down this one. One of the most hardcore shots of all time. Should check out this Hell's Fury shot. Everclear, Black Absinthe, Fireball, and 151 proof rum with a habanero pepper. You drop the slice in the habanero into a mixing glass and you muddle that bitch. You add ice and pour the liquors. Shake well. Straight into a shot glass. Garnish with another habanero slice and serve. This is a strong drink. For those of you who don't know, abstinence will fuck you up. Absinthe will fuck you up. So will Everclear. Make sure to drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink if you are under 21. And do not overindulge with this drink. Jesus, this drink will fuck you the fuck up. And now we're reading from the Book of Rules. More cell, more hell. New cell, taller, heavier. Impossible to escape. Hell in a cell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your favorite anniversary edition of the Battle Droid of the Week. This Battle Droid is very easy for me. I said it earlier. I knew who it was going to be. I am awarding this to Doudrop and Nikki Ash. They need something better. Nikki Ash, one, needs to go back to Nikki Cross. Doudrop needs to focus on being just a monster heel. They're really wasting their talents here. They could be so much better. So because of that, Nikki Ash, Doudrop, congratulations, you're the Battle Droid of the Week. Enjoy the trophy.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. Again, it's been a year since I started this. I can't thank you enough for listening. To my fans, to my friends, to my family, thank you once again. To those who are new listeners, thank you for listening. I hope you continue to enjoy this. I will continue to do this podcast for as long as I can. It's fun. I enjoy it. It makes me smile every day. I record it. I'm just sitting down, giddy, ready to go. I forget about everything else I have to do, and I just let go of the podcast. I forget about the world. It just makes me smile. So thank you very much for listening. I've been the big guy, and this has been Wrestling Made Simple. Have a great day. Enjoy Hell in a Cell.